Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullah, or peace and blessing to all. This shall be my latest video regarding the spider prime patterns of the Quran. So in my earlier video regarding spider prime pattern, which is verse 2941 or chapter 29 Al-Ankabut or the spider, verse 41. Okay, this is the only verse of the Quran where the word spider of the Quran are located at. There are only two words spider in the entire Quran, and they are the word Al-Ankabut. So this is where they will be at, and nothing else. Nowhere else will they be in the Quran except for this chapter 29 Al-Ankabut verse 41. This is the first word Al-Ankabut or spider, and this is the second and last word Al-Ankabut or the spider. So we already know there's a lot of awesome prime pattern inside this verse alone. Okay. The word spider or Al-Ankabut has an abjad value of 579. As you can see, 579. So if from the first and till the last word spider of the Quran, if you are to arrange the abjad value, that means the first word will be the word spider and the last word will be the word spider. And then of course there are 8 words in total, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. And if you are to concatenate these 8 abjad values of the 8 words, this huge number shall also be prime. Okay, and of course this is not the only one. There are many more. For example, the second one, if you are to arrange the abjad value from smallest to biggest, that means 5 7 6 2 4 1 3 4 4 9 5 7 6 2 4 1 3 4 4 2 4 4 9, and then 5 7 9 5 7 9 2 1 0 1, it will again be prime. Okay. The other strong prime pattern shall be the letter ta. And in all my earlier videos regarding spider miracle of the Quran, I already explained many times already. I already explained regarding the importance of letter ta and this chapter 29 spider prime pattern. So the letter ta is very important, and of course the word spider itself, the letter ta shall also be the last or the eight different letter of the word. This the first letter is alif, followed by lam, ain, nun, kaf, ba, waw, ta. So the letter ta shall be the 8th letter or the 8 different letter used from the start of the word. Okay. So 8 is very interesting, of course, because spider, of course, have 8 legs. Okay. Spiders have 8 legs. They are not unlike most insect, which have 6 legs. Spiders have 8 legs. So from the first word spider till the last word spider, as you can see, there are also exactly 8 words. Okay. And the concatenating the abjad value of each words shall also be prime, and many more. You can get many more prime pattern from just this verse alone, from just this only verse of the Quran with the 2 words spider alone. Okay. Now, since this chapter 29 has exactly 69 verses, it means that the 41st verse from end of this chapter shall also be verse 29. Okay. So it turns out that if the only verse of the Quran with the 2 word spider, or the only verse inside chapter spider, which is verse 41 with the 2 word spider, if this verse is also the only verse inside this chapter that in which the letter ta shall also be the 8th letter used from the start of the verse, the letter ta shall also be the 8th letter used from the start of the verse, as you can see. And the letter ta total sum shall also be exactly 8 in total. Okay, the letter ta is the 8 different letter used from start of the verse, and the letter ta shall also be exactly 8 in total. So 8 is of course interesting because spider have 8 legs, and the word spider or al-ankabut, it also ends with letter ta, and in which the letter ta shall also be the 8th letter or the 8 different letter of the word spider. So this verse itself have exactly 8 letter ta. Okay, I already explained in my previous video regarding spider many pattern involving letter ta. Okay, for example, this chapter itself, the first letter ta of the chapter shall again be the 8th letter used from the start of the verse, and likewise the last letter ta of the chapter, of this chapter spider, which is the last letter ta, which is here. Okay, this is the last letter ta of chapter spider. The last letter ta shall again be the 8th letter used from start of the verse. Okay, just like the spider verse itself, the first letter ta, okay, the 8 different letter used from start of the verse is again the letter ta. Okay, so this verse is the only verse of chapter spider in which the letter ta shall also be exactly 8. It turns out that chapter 29 verse 29 shall be the second verse of the chapter with the most letter ta. But in this case, it is not 8. The letter ta shall be 7. Okay, shall be 7. So this is the first letter ta. This is the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth letter ta, and 7 letter ta. Okay, so what is interesting, like verse 29 is also the 41st verse if from counting from end of chapter 29. Okay, so if we count from end of chapter 29, because this chapter has 69 verses, so if we count from end, the 41st verse from end of chapter shall also be verse 29. So this is if verse 41 of chapter 29, the spider, has the most letter ta, which is 8 letter ta in the total, chapter 29 verse 29, or the chapter 29, the 41st verse from end of chapter, shall also be the second verse with the most word spider. After that, there are no chapter 29, all the other verse will not have either 8 or 7. All of them will have lesser. So these are the only 2 verses of chapter 29, the spider, with the most. Chapter 29 verse 41, or the spider verse itself with the 2 word spider, has 8 letter ta in total, and chapter 29 verse 29, or the 41st verse from end, counting from end of the chapter, shall be the second verse with the most letter ta, but this time it will be 7 letter ta in total. So this will be my discussion for this video. It will only be about chapter 29 verse 29, or the 41st verse from end of chapter. First and foremost, I will try to investigate the letter ta. So the first letter ta of it shall also be the 7th letter from start of verse. So please take note of the letter ta. So the first letter ta shall be the 7th letter. You can enlarge this one. The second letter ta shall be the 9th. So 7, 9. The third letter ta is 19. 7, 9, 19. The fourth letter ta shall be 32nd letter from start. So 7, 9, 19, 32. The fifth is 34. 7, 9, 19, 32, 34. The sixth letter ta shall be 77. 7, 9, 19, 32, 34, 77, and the last or the 7th letter ta shall be the 93rd letter from start of verse. If, okay, so now we have, basically we have something like this. I'm going to my prime checker side. So the first letter ta will be 7, the 7th letter 7, then followed by 9, 19, 32, 34, 77 and 93. So this is not a prime. The word spider once again has an exact object value of 579, and if we place 579 left and right, it shall be prime. Okay, it shall be prime. This is the first prime pattern that I discovered, and many more prime, interesting prime pattern will follow just by using this verse 2929 of chapter 29, the spider. Okay, now likewise we can also do something like this. The first letter ta from end of this verse, so the first letter ta is the 10th letter. Okay, hopefully you can see this one. Try to enlarge it. So the first letter, if not, you can just listen to my voice. So the first letter ta from end of the verse is the 10th letter. So there are 6 more letter ta. So the second one will be 26. The third one will be 69. Fourth one will be 71. Fifth one will be 84. Sixth one will be 94, and the seventh one will be 96. So I already have the note, that's why I know. So for this reverse one, counting from the end, the letter ta shall be 10, 26, 69, 71, 84, 94, 96, and this time we place 2929 left and right. Earlier we placed 579 and 579. This time we place 2929 left and right. Okay, it will again be prime. What is 2929? This is verse 2929 obviously. This is obviously verse 2929 or chapter 29 verse 29. So just like that we get two beautiful primes. Okay, for this one is 22 digits. Okay. Now there are not these are not the only one. There are many more. For example, now we are going to we are going further. We are going more. We are going to dig deeper. Still with this verse 2929, chapter 29 verse 29. Okay, if you look at the first word, okay, it is the 397 word of the chapter. Okay, this should be 100% accurate because most of the counting methods of words, I use a few sites such as Noon Center method of counting or rakim.com. So this should be the consensus, the most usual. So chapter 29, don't worry, it should be 100% accurate. So that means chapter 29 has 69 verses and 976 words. This should be 100%. This should be most of the method that we get 976 word in total. So the first word is the 397 word. Whenever quote unquote the color is in blue, that means this is a prime or additive prime to be exact, and those in green are just prime. So this is a prime. The first word is the 397 word of the chapter. 397 is prime. So if I am to look for all the prime this way, so the other one will be, so this is 398 is of course not prime. 399 is of course not prime because it's in red. So the other one will be 409. 409 will be prime in blue, and then 409, and then 419. 419 will be prime. So there are only 397, 401, where is it? 401, then 397, 401, 409 and 419. Now you check again. Take note of this 397, 397, 401, 409, 419. If I am to place the letter ta, so the letter ta, the first one is 7, am I right? 7, the second is 9. So if I am to place 7, 9, okay, so I believe you understand what I'm trying to do now. 7, 9. So the third letter ta will be the 19th letter from the start of the verse. 19, 32, 34, 77, 93. It will not be prime. I wonder why. Maybe I've forgotten. Okay, 419. Let me double check. 7, 9, 19, 32, 34, 77, 93 is correct. Maybe it's on the left. 397, 401, 409, 419. So it's a prime. Okay, so that means the normal arrangement of the letter ta, okay, and followed by that prime. So it's quite interesting. It's of course interesting. Okay, 24 digit. There are many. This is not the only one. There are many more. It won't stop. For example, again with 7, 9, 19, 32, 34, 77, 93, the normal arrangement. Now, I want you to look at the whole verse itself. Okay, 2929, chapter 29 verse 29 has 23 words and 102 letters. So what I do, I just place this verse 2929 has 23 words and 102 letters. It's a prime. Now if I am to do it reverse this way, so that means chapter 29 verse 29 or chapter 29 verse 29 has 23 word and 102 letter. So I'm going to delete this one. Okay, this will also be prime. So it's very interesting. There are many more with this arrangement. For example, with this arrangement again, the letter ta from start of the verse is 7, 9, 19, 32, 34, 77 and 93. Okay, if earlier we already know, if I place 579 left and right, it will be prime, which is of course beautiful because 579 is the object value of the two words spider. Now since this is verse 2929, so I make a connection 579 and 2929, it will be prime. Okay, another very interesting stuff. Okay, so what else can we get from here? Okay, now for something new. Okay, this is 579 2929. Okay, 2929. Now earlier I said that this okay, the letter ta is very important because this verse 2929 is the second most amount of letter ta, which is 7 letter ta in total. The verse with the most one is of course the spider verse itself, which is 2941, and 2929 is also interesting because it is actually the 41 verse from end of chapter 29 the spider, because this chapter 29 the spider once again has 69 verses in total. So 29 is also like 41 if from the end of the verse, if from the end of the chapter. So this is the second verse with the most letter ta, which is 7 in total. Okay, now this is the first word with the letter ta, which has 2 letter ta, and it has a value of 887, which is an additive prime or prime. Okay, 887 is prime. The second word with letter ta is this one. It has a value of 641, which by the way is also a prime. The third word with letter ta is this one, has a value of 863, which is by the way a prime too. The fourth word with letter ta is this one, but this has a value of 462, which is not a prime. And the fifth word with letter ta, or the last word with letter ta is this one, has a value of 470, but 470 is not a prime. If we are to, what I'm going to do now, if I am to add up all of this amount, so that means for Quran code, we just this chapter 29 verse 29, you are going, if you want to select all the words with letter ta, very simple. You go to selection, so you only select this special this verse only. You go to words, you type in ta. So it means that these are all the words with letter ta. Okay, there are 5 words with letter ta. So that means the letter ta in total will once again 7. So you just need to just find, and it will automatically show you all the words with the letter ta. Very simple and straightforward. So as you can see, the first one has value of 887, 641, 863. Okay, the total is also 887, 641, 863, 462, 470. The total will be 3323. This is very important. Take note of this number 3323. Okay, take note of this number 3323. The 5 words with letter ta. It is, by the way, a prime also. Okay, now we can do it another way. We can do it all the words inside this verse that has prime abjad value. So we know this first word with letter ta, it has a prime abjad value, which is 887. The second word also has prime abjad value. The third word has prime abjad, but the last 2 words does not have prime abjad value. Okay, but now we are going to search for all the words with prime abjad value. So this is also simple. Use selection, but this time you go to words with value prime. Okay, prime. Okay, then you just find. So now it will be different. Okay, so the first 3 words, again they have letter ta also, but the 2 words will be different. So this time it will be 2613. It is not a prime. Okay, the 5 words with prime abjad value. 887 is a prime, 641 is a prime, 860 is a prime, 71 is a prime, 151 is a prime. So the total will be 2613. This will be very important. Take note of this 2613. Earlier, all the word with letter ta, okay, the total abjad value is 3323. This is important. Take note. And this time, the words with prime abjad value will be 2613. Why I said take note of 2613 and 3323. Okay, why I say just take note of this 2 special number. Okay, 3323 and 2613. Because first, if I use 3323 left and right, okay. Now, if the middle, I'm going to go to the normal, where the letter ta, which is 7. Okay, this is the first letter ta is 7. The second letter ta is 9. So you still remember the 7, 9. You still remember. I hope you still remember the 7, 9, 19, 32, 34, 77, and 93. I'm sure you still remember about this. Okay, but this time, instead of 7, 9, 19, 32, 34, 77, 93, we already know earlier if we place 5, 7, 9 on the left and right, it will be a prime. But this time, we reverse this number, 93, 77, 34. And we place it at the middle of this 3323. So what I'm going to do is simple this. I'm going to reverse to 93, 77, 34, 32, 19, 9, 7. Okay, and this shall also be prime. Okay, shall also be prime. So the 3323 will play an important role, but this time we reverse. Instead of 7, 9, 19, 32, 34, 77, 93, we reverse to 93, 77, 34, 32, 19, 97. This is beautiful, obviously. Obviously, this is beautiful. Now, as for that number 2, the second number which I ask you to take note, 2613. 2613. So, as for the number 2613, okay, you will be shocked of this. Reverse of this will not be prime, but normal will be prime. Okay, so the normal is, of course, the normal shall of course be like the first letter ta is 7, followed by 9, followed by 19. Okay, so the normal, the normal will be prime. So we arrange 2613, 2613, 7, 9, 19, 32, 34, 77, 93. 7, 9, 19. I try to make it space so that you can see clearly. 7, 9, 19. Then 32, 34, 77, 93. And this will also be prime. Simply, okay, there's one. Simply beautiful. Okay, the normal arrangement of the letter ta shall be prime if we put 2613 on the middle, and the reverse arrangement 93 shall be prime if you place 3323 at the left and right. Perfectly beautiful. Okay. Okay. There are many more. Okay. Another one which I have to take into consideration is this one. I'm going to make use of 2613 on the left and 3323 combo on the right. So on the middle, what am I going to put on the middle? I'm not going to put something that is strange. I'm going to put something that is we already know, and that is 887, 641, 863, 71. So, do you know what this number is? Of course, if you check my video earlier, you should know what this is. Okay, it is of course 887, 641, 863, 71, 151. So, left is 2613, right is 3323. So, this is actually the letter ta. Am I right? Oh no, I'm sorry, it's not letter. It's not word with letter ta. It is the word with prime abjad value. Okay, there you are. 887, 641, 863, 71, 151. All the one in red. Okay, although the total sum here is 2613, of course, but we are making use of 2613 and also 3323. So will this be prime? Placing 887, 641, 863, 71, 151 at the middle of 2613 and 3323. Of course, all of these are important numbers. These are main numbers, okay? This will again be prime. Superbly beautiful. Now, if this is a prime, of course, you might say, why not put 3323 on the left and 2613 on the right, or why not? Okay, of course, you can try that. But the fact is, it is not easy to get a large number, to be prime all of a sudden. Okay, it's super difficult. So, but there is a pairing. This pattern has a partner. Okay, this 887, 641, 863, 71, 151. Okay, which is this one. Okay, the 5 word with prime abjad value. Okay, this 5 word, if we reverse it, 151, we do 151, 71, 863, 641, 887 at the same center. The left and right is the same, but now we reverse. So now it will become 151, 71 863 641 887. So we place this in the middle, it will also be prime. So many prime pattern. Awesome, simply awesome. I myself have lost count, but and there's another one which is of course the if it is a normal one, if it is 887 641 863, for example, if it is a normal arrangement, we already know this, it is also prime. Okay, we already know normal arrangement is prime. Okay, normal arrangement is prime. And of course, I believe I already informed earlier, if we are to place if we are to place 2929 and 579 on the left and right, okay, like this. So instead of 2613 and 3323, we place 2929 and 579. Okay, this of course, this 2929 is of course important number also. Okay, 29. So this normal arrangement, and we place 2929 579, it will be a prime. Okay, of course there are many, like earlier, if 579 2929, this will not be prime, but okay, it's hang already. This will not be prime, but of course it will be prime if I were to place that letter ta from the start of the verse, which is 7 9 19 32 34 77 93, and this of course is prime. So there's so many prime pattern from just this verse 2929 alone. Okay, the second verse with the most letter ta, which is 7. So the only two verse with the most letter ta is the spider verse itself, which is 2941, and the second one is the verse 2929, chapter 29 verse 29, which is also the 41st verse from end of the chapter. Okay, beautiful, too many prime, huge digit, over 22 digit prime pattern, so it just cannot be a coincidence anymore. Okay, thank you and goodbye.